listen, never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
We talk about it every day.
Getting on baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
It's NLCS time. And we've been doing this collaborative thing with fellow Dodger friends, the ladies from Talk Dodgers to Me, Melissa and Jaclyn. I'm stoked that we are chatting about the NLCS because that means the Dodgers have advanced to the NLCS.
My gosh! Well, thank you for having us on your show. Always great to talk to you.
No, thank you for joining me because I saw you guys were at the game. It still sounds like you're recovering from the game.
That's why I'm just waiting for my voice to come back. But listen, I had to cheer on my boys.
Well, let's start there. So you guys were at the clinching game at the Ravine. Set the scene for us. What was it like?
Okay, well, we walk in and I had just stated this on our podcast, but I'm like, when I have a changing moment walking into a postseason game is when they hand me that rally towel. And when they hand me that rally towel, I'm like locked in. Okay, we're here to do this. And I mean, everyone's smiling. We always say the staff and everyone is just always so happy, so nice. It's just, it was amazing. So,
I'm even going to take it back a little bit because this really matters to me, but we find free parking outside of the stadium so that we don't need to deal with all the traffic. So we were in an even better mood walking into the stadium. Just everyone is smiling. Everyone is happy. Yeah. We got there an hour and a half early. The band is going. We're not even walking around the stadium. We're dancing. We're just having the time of our lives. We're wearing all Jaclyn's sequin pieces. And it really was a great start.
You can't not smile. It really is just the best time of year. And it feels like the way that I think people feel when they go to Disneyland. But for me, it's gosh, it's just, you see blue everywhere. Even getting there, I'm like, there's traffic. It's because the whole city shutting down to do this, everyone's in blue.
We also, we didn't try that hard to go on Wednesday because I think we both kind of had a feeling we were going to give them one game. It was going to be really hard to sweep the Phillies. But Thursday, we both woke up, hopped on the phone, and we're like, let's go.
Yeah, we got to go.
Got cheap seats. We just wanted to get in. We moved around the entire game because those games, it was such a nail biter, amazing pitching, amazing defense. When we weren't getting a hit or nothing was happening, we're like, all right, we got to move somewhere else. Nothing's happening here. So we really did that the whole game.
Okay. So that was the start. That was basically us walking in. Yeah.
And by the way, free parking is always a dub. When you're going to the Ravine, free parking, I don't care what anybody says, that is a win. No matter what.
Yeah.
So game happens, ends up being super stressful. So when it got stressful,
when we got to our seats, I'm like, I can't just sit here and watch this crumble. We have to move. It felt like and I am such a sit in my seat watch. I honestly, I really am. But at this one, I was like, I think we need to switch it up. We need to go somewhere else. I don't know. And so then we would walk and something good would happen. And so we'd sit there for a while and then something bad would happen. So we kind of made our way to the pavilion where there was all that standing room. And we kind of felt like, wow, what if we're just around a bunch of us and we're all doing it and we're bringing the energy? We just were like, maybe that is going to make us want to settle down a second. And that'll bring them energy so we're just trying all the things, pulling out all the stops.
And it was really fun to be in the pavilion because you're just around Dodger fans. You've got the blue crew, banging on the drums, the flags flying around. Everyone's holding up signs. That was really fun energy to be around. And we were in the standing area. So we're pacing back and forth and just making friends with everybody. And it was a blast.
Yeah. I mean, then we kept going because it got really nerve-wracking. Then Roki came in. And then, we just, honestly, it was great baseball. It really was. And it's it's October. This is what it's like. This is almost she So growing up with Kershaw, sometimes I would avoid Kershaw games because they were slower paced games because it's such good pitching. It's kind of the ground outs, the pop ups, and it's almost like who's gonna freaking hit first, you know? And that was this like the whole time.
And I'm like, oh my God, we can't get hit, blah, blah, blah. And Jaclyn's like, it's October.
It's October.
The pitching is going to be great and it's going to be harder to get a hit.
Yeah.
So, you know, she really had to calm me down a lot.
But yeah, you're just waiting for someone to make the error. And it was almost like that kind of game. Like they're just battling so hard. Like, who is it going to happen to?
Mm-hmm.
So when the error happens, obviously we now know, right? Orion Kerkering had just one of the worst kind of mistakes, errors, however you want to label it, that a pitcher can make. You know, obviously now it's synonymous with JT. I feel bad for JT Realmuto because he's a part of two kind of memes. The one, I forget who the reliever was that that sprinted in, and JT's just, oh no, just crushed. And then now you have him pointing to first, and Orion throws home, and he just wasn't expecting it. You obviously, TV shows you everything. I watched it on television. You didn't at first. I'm sure you didn't really kind of see all of it, right?
No, it was so fastly
Yeah.
like happening. Yeah. So yeah, I'll break it down for us.
Well, remember, we made an error first. Emmett
Correct.
Sheehan didn't catch that double play ball. So that, you know, we're freaking out about that.
Yeah, it changed the momentum of that. And we're like, great.
Momentum swings, but no one's going to talk about that because it didn't affect the Dodgers outcome, right? So that's where Emmett Sheehan kind of gets bailed out a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously you see Orion throw home. Kim, now we know, misses home plate and he comes back and touches it, but he touches home. But it's just you feel terrible for the guy, right? And I saw the video I saw. It was, I don't remember if it was TV or if it was the Dodgers social media that posted it, but you see all the guys running out of the dugout to go celebrate, and they're running towards first and all that. And then you just see Orion just kind of bent over, just crushed. And I think Otani and a couple other guys are running around him. They're happy as can be. And Orion's just absolutely crushed, inconsolable. But that's also the tough thing about baseball, right? Is it's a game of inches. And that in that particular case, it ended up being that way. So you don't see that happening. I did see the videos you guys posted, sequined out, celebrating. You're partying, you're shocked, you're screaming at the top of your lungs, obviously, Melissa. But since you didn't see all that, in your minds, you just, like, what did you guys kind of think happened?
I think we were almost reacting to the crowd because, we couldn't really see exactly what was happening, but we knew we won. So
I saw it. I saw him throw home and it woofed, and I saw Kim like run by, and I was just like, no way. I mean, right when Pages hit it, part of you's like, oh my God, because let's be honest, because of the outcome, we're kind of getting like, granted, just put it in play, let the other person make the error. So I'm not going to like knock Pages for putting it in play, but also that could have just been an easy out. And so it's like, so at first you're like, gah! And then all of a sudden you see Kim flying by like a comet, and then the ball just goes, and then everyone just freaking goes insane.
Well,
so I mean, where we were right by this. So I didn't really pay attention to the other team at all.
Well, and Pages has had such a rough series.
Yeah.
That, he hit that and it's like, oh.
And not to single Pages
we
out.
wanted the games to end. We're in extras at this point.
It was a quick because it was like,
yeah, but then
because then they won.
We saw the overthrow. A little bit of craziness happening, but then everyone's cheering. The place is going crazy. I mean, it was electric.
It was electric. Oh my gosh.
Remember we were high-fiving everyone walking by us?
When did you realize you didn't have a voice anymore?
When I woke up the next morning.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't in real time, like right there.
No.
It was okay. Because that would have sucked. You're celebrating and all of a sudden you can't scream. Like you're stuck because you've lost your voice.
No, when we went to record the next morning, and we were so excited to record and just talk about it that we ended up recording an hour earlier than we normally do. And it was perfect timing for my voice to, go.
Well,
but you know what? Actually, our listeners appreciated it. Because I even wrote on our stories, if you're at the game and you have a voice the next morning, you didn't cheer loud enough. So I couldn't eat my own words.
I was about to say, I mean, you can't really like be upset that you don't have a voice because you lost it for a good reason, because the Dodgers advanced to the NLCS. So now as we look ahead,
it's better than it was, right?
Yeah. She was
Well,
like a little boy in puberty.
so it was rough. It was rough.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now the Dodgers have advanced, like we said, to the NLCS. I'm stoked that they got a couple days off. Before we started recording, Jaclyn said a stress-free weekend, which it was. It was because you haven't really had to worry about some things. I will say, I did say in our group text that we have amongst us here, that I do think the Brewers are a problem. But I wanted to kind of give you the opportunity to rebuttal something, Jaclyn, because you said something very interesting in that text exchange. So I'm going to give you a chance to tell me why the Brewers being a problem is not a problem.
Um, because it's October. I feel like everyone's a problem. So it's like until we start playing, just same with Phillies. I mean, yeah, Phillies were a problem. I felt like were supposed to be our like World Series thing. And it's like I know that the Brewers are good. I just really have so much faith to know, especially seeing the boys and how they show up when their bats show up. Usually they're bats, when they're bats and they're everything. It's like they are fighting tooth and nail. I think that that's really hard to beat. And I don't think that the team that the Brewers swept in the regular season is the same team. And so, yeah, the Brewers are great. We all should be great. It's October. I just feel like until we start playing, I'm not going to say they're a problem yet because we might play phenomenally and be fine. I don't know. I think our boys really do a good job at rising. It's October. Everyone in this, like the whole stretch right now, it's like that's how you play.
But we also really believe that, the Dodgers can go against anybody. It's like we play against ourselves. When we are really good and when we're on, we're a really tough team to beat. And we are a completely different team now than we were when we played them the two series in July where they swept us. We're a healthier team. We're playing phenomenally at the highest level. We just beat the Phillies. A lot of people think that that was like the World Series. And yeah, we're a very different team than the Brewers, but I have full faith if our guys are locked and loaded, we can beat anybody.
Yeah.
The reason I say that the Brewers are a problem is what Pat Murphy's kind of built over there reminds me of like when you talk about like a program, like you talk about like a college athletics program, a pro sports program, it's like the culture from the top down, right? Like I like Pat Murphy a lot just because of he's an old school guy that really relies on the culture, but also he doesn't really sugarcoat much. Like I think it was either today or yesterday. That might have been yesterday after the game. He was asked about the Dodgers and he says, quote, "I don't know how many of our guys would make their team, but it ain't about that. It's about how we come together as a team and compete." And so for me, the most dangerous teams are always, in my opinion, the teams that are kind of looked at like with house money, right? Like they're playing with house money and they don't really have kind of a risk to do the thing because all the pressure's on the Dodgers, if you really sit down and think about it, because all the expectation was on them to really, everyone was like, hey, they're going to win the chip. They're going to win 120 games. They're going to all this, right? No one had the Brewers getting this far, right? Like when you really sit down and look at it, it's the culture's kind of really what's gotten them here. And the Cubs were a tough out. Like, I mean, I was hoping for the Cubs personally, just because it's the easier path to the World Series. But also, I mean, they're still both tough outs because to your point, the Phillies really are really similarly built to the Dodgers. And so it was one of those where like, oh man, I mean, the bullpen was supposed to be one of the strengths for the Phillies. Then it turned out that that's what kind of cost them the series. And so that's why I think it's gonna be a really fun series. I always think 7-game series are really fun. I always hope for 7 games. And it's one of those where I mean, I still am convinced whoever wins this series is going to win the World Series because the two AL teams are really good. I just don't think that they can really match up with both of these teams in the sense of kind of where their depth is. But I still think this is going to be really fun because Milwaukee is going to be rocking and that is like that. I mean, if we learned anything over this kind of last couple weeks of them being in the postseason, that place is going to be just as electric as Dodger Stadium. I just hope Dave Vassegh doesn't get on the slide. That's all I really hope for.
Me too. I don't think he will. But you talk about the culture of the Brewers, and I agree.
Yeah.
I like Pat Murphy. I like that he pulled pancakes out of his pocket, and now they have pancakes on the menu at the stadium. I know he has a history with Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
They're a really good team. It's going to be so entertaining because of how different our teams play. I mean, yesterday was the first game they won off of solo home runs. We've we were just talking about that. We've won dozens of games like that. So I looked it up. 166 home runs for the Brewers in the regular season, 244 for the Dodgers.
Which is crazy.
But even the culture of the Dodgers, though, we have these superstar guys, but they play unselfish baseball.
Yeah.
And they're in it for each other. And it's such a beautiful thing. And it's really special about our team. We can hit home runs. We can play small ball. We have great pitching. Our starters are amazing. Yes, we are still nervous about the bullpen, but how Dave has been managing the game, besides, that one game we all wanted him to put in Roki. I'm excited. It's going to be really fun to watch.
I know that they're like, it's so crazy. I feel like Milwaukee's like this underdog, but they're like the best team in baseball. Like they've been the best, but they're this like also this weird underdog mentality of like when it comes to money or not money and all this. But I genuinely feel like the things that you're loving about their team and their culture is what the Dodgers have been based on. And like so honestly, I feel like we have the money and we have the culture and the love. So if it's an underdog and Milwaukee's meant to have it, it'll show. It'll show when they're playing. But I do not think that Milwaukee's going to come. I would be so shocked if they came and just ran over the Dodgers and the Dodgers just let them kind of have it. Like, I think it's going to be.
Look how we performed at Citizen Bank Park.
Well,
it doesn't matter where we are. It is really cool, even watching the other games this weekend, stress-free, because we didn't really care who won.
Man, some good games, though.
Some really good games.
Fan bases of these teams, the Mariners, the Blue Jays, the Brewers.
Everyone wants
to see
it.
It's great to see the fan bases like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's going to matter to our team.
I mean, everyone's going to Phillies. It's like they're the worst team. They're the hardest fan, and I was like, we did pretty well in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, obviously, our platform, this baseball isn't boring, right? And what the Mariners did this weekend is they showed that baseball is not boring. That place was, I was so happy for a Mariner fan because when they're good and that place is packed and they're doing the thing, it's an environment that's unmatched. Honestly, that's why I actually like the ALCS, because both of those fan bases are really good fan bases, obviously, especially when their teams are good. But when those places are rocking, they're rocking. And I think that's going to be the loudest championship series in a while, because if anything similarly to what happened kind of in that last game happens, whether it's at Rogers Center or whether it's at T-Mobile Park, those places are going to be loud. I mean, how can we ever forget the Jose Bautista bat flip home run? Like, I can't even imagine how loud it was in there. And so if it's anything like that's what playoff baseball should be, right? Is it should be that sort of electricity. And that's what I'm really looking forward to out of kind of both of these series, because they're both going to be electric, right? I mean, like, I know the Dodgers for sure have all the the bulletin board material that they're going to get, right? Like, they're 6-0 this season. I don't know if you knew this. The Brewers have won 8 straight games against the Dodgers dating back to August of last year. Someone absolutely knows that. I can tell you that for sure. And so they're going to have all of that there. And then you go into what Dave Roberts even said in availability. Hey, we're not going to win if this is what our offense is. We have to be better. We have to execute better. We have to, do all the things. I also don't think I think these games are going to be gritty games, because when you're at this point, the Brewers, in my opinion, I think the way they're talking, I think they're looking at it like, hey, we're just as good as these guys, and we're not going to be disrespected. And those are the funner series, because if they're just going to go blow for blow, and I'm here for it, because that's what makes October baseball.
Yeah. And they have great base running. That really stood out to me watching them, just watching how they just steal and they're ballsy and they do stuff like that. But I bet our guys love the fact that the Brewers beat them the whole series, because they want to beat them now. So I feel like they're talking about that, and that locker room, and it's firing them up.
It's hard to beat someone 3 times in a row.
It is. Well, and I will say, I mean, it's a new season. I don't think anyone's going to look at the 6-0 that they had earlier this year as like, that's the end all be all, right? Like, it's the boogeyman, because it's the postseason now, right? Now you're talking about the Dodgers have a bunch of guys that have played in this round of the postseason before. They've been here before. They were just here not too long ago, right? Whereas the Brewers, there is a couple guys that have postseason experience, but not at this point, right? The organization has one pennant. It was in the American League, and that was a long time ago. So it's one of those where it's again, the program, the cultures, that's what's going to be fun about this, and as far as the story goes, because just like the Brewers have their program and culture, so do the Dodgers, right? And so my absolute favorite thing that happened this weekend, and the two favorite things that happened that were stress free, is number one, yesterday the Brewers pulled out the L flag. That was savage. And number two, when Vladdy Jr. Let everybody know that the Yankees lose, and that
was the best.
incredible.
We talked about that on our show.
Yeah,
that was amazing to watch A-Rod and Jeter react to that moment.
The Yankees lose.
And one more time. That was so funny.
And they just had to take it. A-Rod and Jeter just had. But listen, they were good sports, but still,
Can someone explain the L flag to me?
So the Cubs raise the W every time they win, and in Chicago.
Okay.
And so the Brewers pulled out the L flag as they were victorious in the series.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and so it's I'm here for it, because in my opinion, you're allowed to talk some shit, because baseball I've always believed, like, I think it's kind of petty when dudes, like a pitcher gives up a home run and they hit the guy again. It's like, dog, you gave up the home run. Like don't be mad. Like they did the hardest thing in all of sports and hit a bomb off of you, probably off of a fastball or a misplaced whatever. And of course they should take that victory lap. Like, let them, but it's your fault they did that. So don't let them do it. But hitting them, in my opinion, is kind of chicken shit. So when you see dudes that are kind of doing that sort of stuff, I'm cool with it. That's what makes baseball fun. It's supposed to be fun, right?
And that's the way to go about it. Not how the Padres put up the crying meme of Kersh and then they don't win a game against us for like a year.
Well, then, and again, that's what it's supposed to be.
Classy ways to do it.
Yeah. Don't give up the home run. That's always been my position, is just don't give up the long ball and you'll be fine.
What did Kersh say? Just, I got to pitch better.
Yep.
Do you see that meme when we were playing with the Phillies and then they lost, and it was like they just have never been the same since the Karen lady they've never been the same since the Karen lady took the ball.
Forgot about her for a minute.
He would not say any more dressed as her. They were wearing the wigs and the jerseys.
You didn't show me.
Oh, I saw it on like,
I
didn't
That's
see
incredible. Well,
there's a lot of Philly fans.
I bet you she's going to be a huge Halloween costume.
I'm sure that's how it always goes. Like, there's always some. Oh man, that was tough for that lady. Yeah, poor lady.
I say this all the time.
No, I don't have any. I don't have any empathy.
I say this all the time. I have never caught a foul ball. And I am at the age now where if I do and there's a child next to me, I have to give them this foul ball.
She said that to a kid at one of the games. She's like,
yeah, I told the kid, because
he said she didn't need to give it.
He goes, yeah, he was next to me and was just like, man, I want to catch a foul ball. And I was like, dude, I do too. And I was like, I've never caught one. He's like, wow, really? He's probably like, you're so old. How have you never done this? And then I go, but do you want to know what's so crazy is that if I catch one today, there's no way I can't give it to you. And he looked at me, he goes, no way. He goes, I play soccer, so it's cool. You don't have to.
That was like, really cute.
It
was really
cute. Now, someone made a good point to me and was like, well, chill out, Jack, because certain players on that team, that ball's worth a lot. So don't just give it. Like, someone was like, just bring a ball in with you always, just to hand that one off.
Well, I mean, if I suspect if it's an Ohtani home run, you're going to see 100 people just kind of jump after it, right? But if it were to be like I'm trying to think of who not to disrespect. If it's like an Alex Call home run, you're not going to see the same amount. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Alex Call.
Yeah. He's been really consistent.
Some great moments for us.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, why do they keep taking that guy out? Like, he's really keeps the ball in play.
So we're chatting with the ladies from Talk Dodgers to Me. During this postseason, we've been collaborating with our platform here, Baseball Isn't Boring, and with Talk Dodgers to Me, and we're chatting about what it's going to look like here in the postseason. Did you know that in 22 innings pitched, the starting rotation had 28 Ks, a 2.45 ERA, and a .95 WHIP?
Whoa!
So starting pitching wasn't the problem, right?
Let's break that down for us. Okay,
Well,
because you know us girls, we're like from a fan perspective. So
Yeah, our
yes.
fan perspective.
yeah,
We're not
so
stats and that.
but we love to learn about it. So yeah,
Mhm.
break it down for us.
That would be called elite. So starting pitching is not your problem, right? So if the Dodgers keep getting to that sort of starting pitching and the offense can figure it out, then
Yeah,
they're obviously going to cruise to the World Series. But here's the
totally.
problem. The offense has been a little, I don't know, sleepy, if you will.
Mhm.
They've as you guys saw when you were there was a lot of runners left on base.
Mhm.
Yep.
They really couldn't get kind of those hits to come through. I have to eat my words on Kike because when we started kind of this collaboration before the postseason started, I was worried about Kike. Evidently, I was very incorrect. So my apologies to Kike Hernandez. Um, but my what's as you go into the NLCS, we've kind of seen the Dodgers now in 2 rounds. You know kind of what you're going to see. We know they got really good starting pitching. What as you look ahead to this series, what's the thing that like in the back of your mind is like, oh man, this might be a problem?
I think it's the offense. Freddie striking out so much, but also, we weren't getting hits. We got to give credit to the Phillies pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They were phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect our guys to start heating up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm expecting them not to have the same offensive struggles.
No,
as
I
we did
mean, I think
last
that's my
series.
biggest stress. We said that even going into the wild card. Like, if our bats are alive, like we really think, that's what we need is when other things fail, our bats are there to give us like the runs on the board.
Yeah, and we want to give run support to these incredible starting pitchers.
Pitchers. I know, but it's true at this level, the Phillies pitching was like it was incredible.
But the
They
Brewers
shut us down.
have an incredible pitching staff too. So yeah, that's the thing I'm looking for. Our
Yeah.
guys to start off strong and get it going early. Because when we gain a lead early,
I know we do really well.
yeah.
I know.
I never thought in a million years, because obviously that's a part of why we're doing this collaboration. We have different perspectives, and I'm here for that because I'm very cynical, I guess, just because of the stupid things I do, and then you guys are not, and so that's why I enjoy it. But I never thought in a million years that an offense that has Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, the list goes on, that I would ever hear anybody say, "Well, I'm worried about our offense." That's kind of crazy to me. Like when you it's almost blasphemous if you really sit down and think.
Well,
about
did
it,
you
right?
know that one of our guys who we expect to have great offense is also pitching for us?
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Well,
No.
there's a lot of factors, but I think that shows the importance of what they and that offense brings. Like when they're on fire and there's a consistency and there's a leadership in that. I mean, we really have had great like at bats. It hasn't necessarily it hasn't always gone our way, but we've had really good at bats. And I do think they're seeing the ball. They're not seeing it. I mean, some of them are, oh, that outside drop ball that
Teo
hits Ohtani,
really,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. But and even with Pages, like something's not connecting. But yeah, I mean, that's why I think it makes us so nervous because we see how important it is. It like honestly is their switch.
Okay, so you're surprised with our reaction, and we stay positive. We really trust our team. We try and stay positive as much as we can because that's why we love baseball. It's like the heart, the connection, the community. So we don't even allow ourselves to kind of go to the negative aspect, but I'm curious for you to answer the question that you just asked us.
So I in general with sports, I always expect the worst and hope for the best because there's only so many things you can control, right? And so like a good example, the other day when Dave didn't go to Roki, everyone was really surprised. And then the next day he comes out with a definitive statement that it's like, hey, from now on, Roki's the guy. Like he's going to be the guy in that situation. And so it's one of those things where that's also the thing about baseball is we can, just like that statement I just said, is you hope for expect the worst, hope for the best. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And sometimes you kind of have to eat your words a little bit because you're overthinking. Right. And so I think it's fair to say that in that moment, Dave was probably overthinking it a little bit. And that's why he went to the guys that he went to. And listen, and I get it. He's trying to he's trying to show those guys that they trust him, that the coaching staff trust the bullpen. and that's why they're going to those guys. Like obviously, you can rely on Alex Vesia because the but one of the craziest things about Vesia is he has one of the best ERAs for relief pitchers for the Dodgers since they acquired him, and he's like in the top 10 in like a minimum of like 250 innings pitched or something like that. Like that's a super, like one of those, like Friedman's going to put that on the mantle somewhere, because for him, that's like the reason you go out and you get a guy is like down the line, Moneyball's going to talk about that. Like you got Vesia for, I don't even know who, like a player to be named later probably situation. And no, I know that's not the case, but you know what I'm saying? It's one of those, like, you don't really think about that piece in that moment, and then you get the guy. And so I think for me, I look at it from a couple ways. Like the starting pitching's good. I'm actually really happy about that. My real worry going into this series is that the bullpen is just not going to meet the moment. And that's honestly just been my worry throughout the postseason, has just been that. And the bummer is they've kind of like the times that they haven't gone to the formula that we all know they probably should go to, that everyone kind of knows they should go to. The bullpen has kind of let us down, and that's been my worry. To your point, the Phillies pitching's legit. That's a legit pitching staff, top to bottom, and they have in their own right a really good offense too.
They were good.
Yeah,
they were good.
Well,
They're
even
good.
that last game,
Sorry,
they had the game 1 and 2 starters that we'd already seen. They brought out all the stops for that game, all their best guys. So, I am trying to kind of look on giving them credit and waiting for our guys to heat up.
Well, and for me, the big thing is I just really hope the offense just puts the ball in play. I don't think it's a matter of like you need to hit a whole bunch of home runs. Just get the ball in play, right? And then remember, like, oh, that's how we do this. You just hit a single, you do the thing, and you manufacture runs. Sometimes that's all you kind of have to do to kind of break the funk, if you will. But the Phillies brought it. I mean, that there's no other way to look at it. Like when you kind of look at that series, that was a battle of two heavyweights that really were going blow to blow. And if it turns out that the Phillies really were the test, if you will, then they're already battle tested going into this. Because listen, the Brewers aren't slouches; they're the best team in baseball. There's leaps and bounds. They're supposed to be what the Dodgers were supposed to be, the best team in baseball, right? And so it's a really good team going up against the best team in baseball.
But they also did come off of a World Series championship and didn't play the latest and start the beginning. Like it's like this is a different season for the Dodgers and what they are as a team. Like I feel like going back to back, they needed this. They almost needed what their season was. They needed the grit. They needed to not be the shining stars 24/7. It needed to not come easy to them. They needed to be able to fight and figure it out and try new things. And I think that that's kind of our edge going into this. It's almost like just humbling them, and now they get to execute. And I don't know. I just feel
that's
like
true. The Brewers have been great all year. Didn't they go on some crazy win streak? I mean, everything is coming together for the Dodgers right now at the perfect time. I mean, we've talked about who knew Roki would even be healthy to pitch in the postseason. It's like they really play one game at a time. They trust each other. They trust themselves. They trust the process. They say that after every game, and we get so frustrated as fans listening to that when they're losing game after game to teams that they should be beating. But the Dodgers set themselves up for the postseason. And right now, we're playing our best baseball at the most important time. And that makes me really excited.
Whatever they did to kind of fix Roki needs to be studied, because
I mean, he like blossomed before our eyes. He almost just feels this little boy and like came back as just like, I feel like, I don't know what happened in Oklahoma, but he
gains confidence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 100%.
Even those memes of him, the pictures of him from like months ago.
Yeah.
To then like
now he just looks like like he became a man.
He matured. Yeah.
I mean, we went from he was crying after that outing in the dugout, which it breaks your heart, right?
23-year-old.
To in the postseason, he's sitting in the dugout, not taking his glove off because he's essentially telling them, "Nah, I'm going back in," right? And that's a guy that's matured. That's a guy that's kind of figured it out a little bit, right? But I mean, he 9 up, 9 down, and did it kind of flawlessly, if you will, is against the Phillies. Is that in itself is an accomplishment, but I really do think it needs to be studied to kind of what they did to kind of get him right. Obviously, he was hurt, right? He was injured. They had to work through that, but it's one thing to go from that to trusting your stuff again. whatever they did, it absolutely worked. And I just want to know a little bit. I don't need to know
I
everything.
know.
Yeah.
I was listening, who was I listening to? But they had made a good point. Like, there really is no stage like this stage, but he is used to being a star. Like
Mhm.
he has had this like all eyes on him. So I'm assuming that helps. And then once he came here and got his footing of how to do that now in the States has probably been
Yeah.
maybe the biggest reason why he's blossomed. Like, I don't know. I love it for him. I mean, how emotional he was because he just wants to do good.
Even like watching Shohei and Yoshi cheer him on. Remember, Yoshi was not that dominant last season, but then
Yeah.
he was lights out in the postseason. So there is, we talk about October Kike and all those things. That must play a factor. But yeah, he gained a lot of confidence
He
in
probably had to learn how
Oklahoma
to make,
City.
he had probably had to learn how to use an American toilet.
No, remember he requested.
Not in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's true.
Not in Oklahoma.
We asked Stan Kasdan, the president of the Dodgers, about how Roki asked for the bidets in Dodger Stadium, and he got them.
I mean, listen, a bidet is, I'm not a bidet guy personally. I've tried them, not my cup of tea, to each their own. But sometimes those little kind of fixtures from home, no pun intended, they go a long way. It makes you feel comfortable. You feel at home a little bit.
But he didn't have it in Oklahoma.
I highly doubt that
just
they
one of
have
the
bidets
guys.
in Oklahoma City. No
Right?
disrespect to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I know. So he really had to just toughen up.
I personally would have asked for a taco cart, but that's neither here nor there. I
A
want
lot
to
of
ask.
people are talking about him as an X factor compared to Jacob Mizorowski, kind of the X factor for the Brewers. I mean, out of those two, who would you take?
That's a great question. I was actually about to ask because obviously the Dodgers have their kind of dudes. I wanted to ask you guys the same, so I'll digress. But I think the reason I'm going to give Roki a slight edge is because Roki is feeling himself some Roki. Like when he's pitching with the confidence, like when he walks out to the mound, where you're like, oh,
Roki. And
That high leg kick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and his song is so perfect.
Yeah.
His walk-up song.
To use a pro wrestling reference, Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day had the BMF walk. If you don't know what that is, it's the bad motherfucker walk. He'd walk from the ramp to the ring. He would talk. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He would just talk. But he was in that mode of like, yeah.
You said that, and I was like picturing mine.
And that's what Roki does. Roki doesn't. He's walking. He's ready, right? He's ready to go. He's dialed in. He's doing the BMF walk in his own way, and that to me is when you have a guy that's that locked in. That's when you know, like, okay, like we know we can count on you. You can do that. Granted, there's a lot of guys the Dodgers have like that, but as we saw, like Clayton, I feel so bad for Kershaw, man. I just feel so bad for him because I know the one thing he wants is to just go out there and just crush it for his guys, but also get that postseason monkey kind of off the proverbial monkey off his back. And then you kind of, and he does all those same things, but he just can't really get there, right?
Well, we can spin that positive.
Yes.
And we've figured out a way to do that because we want the same for Kersh. We want him to go out on top. We want him to have a great postseason. The Phillies they needed to win a game. They were going to come out swinging. Kersh saved some of the bullpen guys that we ended up using on Thursday. So to me, that's a win.
That's a win. And I feel like that we sacrificed that game. It was horrible to watch, but low key, it's like now he has that emotion. He got it almost like it just opened the beast for him to now know how to fix all those errors and how to go into it differently. And he doesn't really know closing.
I also think like everything we talk about the Dodgers culture, that is all started by Clayton Kershaw. This first ballot Hall of Famer is the most unselfish player on the team. He's willing to do whatever it takes. He's retiring. He's coming out of the bullpen. That just sets the standard for every other guy on our team. So in a moment like that, yeah, we hated watching that. What it really does for the bigger picture, I just think is so much more important.
I agree with all that. I do, the more I think about it, the more I agree with you that game was absolutely just a sacrifice. I mean, now I don't think those guys are really going to necessarily think about it per se, because they obviously they advanced, right? So that game's kind of like in the wash. It's a fold or whatever. But now, I mean, each one of these games this is it, right? The goal is, we've heard these guys talk about it all season. The goal is to go out and win the chip, right? The next round is the ability to clinch that. And so I do think that that kind of goes into that factor. I mean, because listen, the Dodgers did all the things to go out and try to repeat, right? They spent more than any reigning champion ever to try to repeat. The regular season didn't really kind of pan out how everyone expected it to. There was no way that the Pacoda thing was ever going to pan out. I think it was 105 games. There was no way that was going to happen. In part because we all know one thing about this team: someone's going to get hurt, things are going to happen, slumps, the whole thing. But now that they're here, it's one of those where like I know these guys are bought in, they're unified, the whole thing, and now you said, Jaclyn, you got punched in the mouth a little bit, and you got humbled, and you needed that, and now you have to go out and show everybody why you're the favorites, right? Because the Dodgers, as far as I know, according to Vegas, they're still the favorites to win the whole thing, and if I'm not mistaken, the Brewers are the fourth likely team to win the whole thing. So
I will stand by this. I do believe that when we click on all cylinders and our bats are moving and our pitching's consistent and our defense is there and I think we're unbeatable. Honestly.
It's crazy that the Dodgers are still favored and that the Brewers are fourth when they've had the best record in baseball.
It's crazy, right?
But
I'm sure
the underdog.
I'm sure a part of the edge of that though is they're the champions, right? You're still the champion until you're not the champion. That's how, I mean, at least that's how I think you should operate on it, right? I mean, even just in payroll, the Dodgers spent $350 million in payroll, and the Brewers are first, obviously. Brewers are 22nd with $122 million. So it's, there's those weird kind of things when you look at everything and all that the Dodgers they're the favorites on a lot of things. But I also know there's going to be a lot of Brewers folks, a lot of folks that are fans of other teams that are going to be Brewers fans because they're hate watching, just like we hate watch the Astros and so on and so forth. So it's one of those where it's going to be fun.
No,
and
that
be fun. Amps up our guys, so that's fine. Bring it on. I think they do well with that.
And
with that
please, if Ohtani hitting bombs is what makes you hate him, then hate him. But there's no way you can hate our guys in any other sense. And yeah, fine, hate our players because they're good, but they're the most likable squad. And
the Brewers are really good though, and they're scrappy, and they're gonna be on fire after the win. They're gonna be at home, so yeah, it's gonna be really tough.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this time of baseball. It's just good baseball, and all the teams have a great story, and all the teams have worked hard. Most teams who have gotten to this is because of their chemistry and their love for each other and all the things they've put into it. But at this moment, I don't care about any of that. I believe our boys have just as much of an edge, and if they go out and play the ball that I know how they can play, is like, we're gonna be fine.
Who do you think is starting for the Brewers game one? I think it's Snell for us.
I think it'll be Snell for the Dodgers.
And who do you think is going to start for them?
I mean, I know that they would I know he won't, but I mean, in a perfect world, I think they would go Freddie Peralta, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. I think, as I was actually, I started doing some like deep diving into their roster because, I mean, I'll be honest, I know some stuff about the Brewers, but I didn't really look into the Brewers, if you will. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just more of they are the Midwest. This is West Coast bias. I don't really look at a whole lot of stuff in the Midwest, right? And so as I sat around and looked at it, I was like, man, I wonder, first of all, Jacob Mezorowski is a bad dude. I don't care. I will not stand for any slander for that guy. I will say that I think, oh man, what do you think? I have a name in my head, but I want to hear from, because again, I'm expecting the worst, hoping for the best. So I'm curious to who you guys think it would be.
For the Brewers?
Yes.
I thought it would be Peralta. That's why I was curious why you thought it wasn't.
Yeah,
looking at how we performed against the Brewers, who was healthy on our team, like before we came on with you, and how much different our team is.
I think at that point it was really Muncy. We were missing Muncy, which I don't know what about him when he's in the lineup. It's just we'd play better, even if he's not being the star. But he's been consistent. I just think he's like brewing
It's those at
I see
bats.
what you did there. Well done. Well done.
That was like taking one from the Dodgers social media team. They come up with these amazing captions.
You want to know what, guys? I have no idea what I just said.
He said they're brewing.
Oh, the Brewers,
I
yeah.
didn't even mean to do it.
See, I'm just that good.
That's how you know it's good.
Please?
I think
Yeah, say
if
that on
this
our podcast. Okay.
if this lines up the way that
Producer, can you write it down? Sorry.
I think it's going to be Freddie Peralta. I think is who their guy's going to be.
Okay.
I saw the Brewers play at Colorado. Granted, it's the Rockies, so I mean, the three of us could hit a home run at that stadium, so that's kind of an outlier, right? But it was that game where they won like 21 to whatever, like when they just absolutely just kicked their asses. And the thing that I saw about all that is when those guys, the offense for me is my kind of worrisome part of it, because at this point, when, like you said, Jaclyn, at this point when you get here, you're here for a reason, right? At this round of the postseason. So it's not because of the roster construction or any of that. It's you have the pieces in place, right? But when these dudes are locked in like they were yesterday, where they were hitting those balls, the Cubs were throwing some gas. Like they were throwing 100-mile-an-hour pitches, and they were getting solid contact on those pitches. And so like the Christian Yelich's of the world, the William Contrerases of the world, like those dudes, that's why I think they're a problem, because they see well, they're patient. They really do go out there and have really good at bats.
Christian Yelich is great against the Dodgers,
but like
and yeah, that makes me nervous too, especially when I saw that they hadn't won a game based on solo home runs the whole year. That means their adrenaline's even bigger and higher, and they're smashing it out. Like those 3 homers. Yeah, those were shots yesterday.
But they're good. Honestly, I feel like if I go into a series thinking that those players aren't going to show up at some point, like that's stupid. Like I'm going to just assume that they're going to get some hits and they're going to probably make some, I mean, as they should. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Judge choked last World Series, but like when we walked in and Aaron Judge hit a home run, I was like, I couldn't even hate. Like, good. I'm glad Aaron Judge hit a home run. That's
you expect that, right?
Yeah, and it'll in so many ways. I mean, Ohtani came back and hit one right after, but that's my point. Is like at that point, it's like you have to just expect that these stars are going to show up. And if that is what's going to make you crumble, then they want it more, because then that's just stupid.
And yeah, their offense is great, but look who we have pitching. We're going to have Shohei Ohtani on the mound dominating. We're going to have Blake Snell. Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow was phenomenal his last outing. And that outing, I think, is going to make him even better for the next one.
Yeah.
So we did this with the DS. Let's do this with the CS. What is your prediction for the CS, and who would you pick as your MVPs? We can litigate the DS stuff here in a minute, because we should recap that. I believe you wrote that down, Melissa, if I'm not mistaken. I did not write it down. I only remembered.
I think I wrote it down, but
okay.
Do you have a pen?
Who we picked?
Yes.
Oh, of last time?
Well, let's start with the CS. Well, since we're here now,
say?
we're talking about it now.
So for CS, let's see, what is my gut saying?
And your gut was kind of right. Teo had himself a pretty good DS.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where would we be without that Teo homer?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think a lot of our boys have an opportunity to step up, because, like I said, Freddie and, certain people have not really been consistent. I have a feeling it's going to be a Mookie CS.
He's been our most consistent. And yeah, I'm waiting for him to have, just a little bit more magic. I'm going with Mookie too.
Yeah, I just feel in my gut it's going to be something. Mookie's going to stand out. I think Tommy Edman's going to come in hot. I think that he's going to be sparked of how he felt last season, and how he's going to be like, this is like, it's almost a mental thing. Like, this is his time to be an all-star in a sense. And I hope that kicks in. So I think Tommy's going to be doing some stuff, but I think it's going to be a Mookie. Mookie's going to dominate for us.
I'm gonna go. Tommy Edman's gonna be the linchpin. He's just gonna get the fire going, and I think Ohtani is gonna go off, because
that makes me so
honestly,
excited.
I hope so. I hope so, just for us to watch and enjoy.
Well, Mookie being the highlight isn't because no one's gonna do anything. They all have to still do it. But you're right. Honestly, that Ohtani, man.
And the reason I think is. The reason I think he's going to go off is we know his DS offensively was atrocious, And if there's anything that I think anybody knows about that guy, he hates that, right? And Dave, interestingly enough, Dave kind of publicly saying like, hey, if Ohtani isn't going, we're not going to win the series. That, you know, you don't really ever see Dave kind of publicly come out and like challenge guys, right? Like unless they kind of need it.
You're
And
so right. He did that last year with Bueller in front of the entire team, and that's the moment Bueller really started pitching well.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think that, and then I think the MVP of the series for the Dodgers, because I do think the Dodgers beat the Brewers in 7. I think the MVP. I think this is going to be a really gritty series. Excuse me. I don't think it's going to be like. I don't think it's going to be like, you know, like blowouts. Like I think they had a 6-0 game against the Cubs, like things like that. I think it's going to end up being like a 3-2 game kind of every game.
Just on the edge of our seat constantly. Yeah. And is this coming from you just doing worst case scenario?
No, this
hoping
is
for the best.
This is the Brewers, I think, wanting, like, the Brewers are going to punch them in the mouth. I think the Brewers are, I mean, if they're anything like what I saw when they were in Colorado, they were dialed in all the way through the 9th inning, even though they were absolutely kicking the Rockies' ass. Like they did not take the pedal, you know, the foot off the gas. And so I think that's kind of how they operate in general. They never look at themselves as like out. Right. Like we talked a minute ago, like the Dodgers were like, yeah, we're going to sacrifice this game. The Brewers didn't do that in any of these series. They were like, nah, all gas, no brakes. And that's why I think it's going to be kind of a gritty series, because you throw in the Pat Murphy aspect, right, of just the grittiness of it. But I do think the MVP of this series will be the bullpen, because I think this is the series where the bullpen kind of gets right. You know, because as competitors, you can't really just see a guy like Roki go out there and do that and then just be like, I'm okay just being kind of in this
it's gonna make them rise to the occasion.
Yeah. And here's the thing, these guys absolutely know the stuff that people are saying online. They know. I mean, obviously they all act like there is no rabbit ears. There's rabbit ears. And I think, you know, obviously it sounds like whatever, sending all the best to Tanner Scott, it sounds like whatever happened was pretty serious. So hopefully recovery's good. But you know, they also want to have their guys' backs, you know, because it's like, hey, we're not trash, right? You know, you kind of saw that with Vesia. Vesia got it right and started kind of getting it going to the bridge to all the other things. So that's why I think it'll be. But I do think it's going to be a gritty series. It's going to be a long series, but that kind of gets you ready for the World Series, because out of both those teams that are left, you're going to get the exact same thing in the World Series. And I'll be honest, I'm here for it, because that's what makes baseball fun. What about who is your MVP pick, quote unquote, for the CS?
I'm riding on the Mookie train right now. I've, you know, had his back all season. I just am so impressed with him. He's struggled offensively this season. He's gotten hate to go back into right field. I'm tired of hearing about it. He's made himself a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. It's incredible. And now things are really firing for him. He's been so consistent this last series, finding ways to get on base, finding ways to get hits. I just think he's going to have some serious moments for us in this upcoming series, and I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah.
And just the way he stepped up as a leader. I mean, everyone's talking about that damn wheel play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, low key at this point, if his offense is on point the way his defense has been, he's 100% our MVP.
And you said, you know, Dave said if Ohtani doesn't go, the Dodgers don't go. A lot of people say that about Mookie. If Mookie's not going, the Dodgers aren't going. Mookie's going.
Well, we need him all.
Ohtani's fired up now because Dave called him out.
Yeah.
And yeah, there we go.
If the Dodgers do X, they lose the series. What is X for you guys?
Don't hit. Literally, how do we win if we don't hit?
Yeah.
Our pitching could be so on point. Our bullpen can, I mean, if we literally don't get up and put the ball in play, we aren't going to do anything.
Because even though the bullpen has been struggling, although you think that they're going to be the shining stars, which I love to hear from you, we find ways to make it work within the bullpen.
Yeah.
So I agree.
We have to hit. We can't leave people on base. We have to keep the ball in play. We have to force the air. We have to just keep it going. Like
it's almost just watching their like the mental game of it and how they're doing. If they start showing up, great. But that's the worry, just the offense.
If the Brewers do X, they win the series.
Shut down our bats.
Out hit us.
out hit us, honestly. Well, I don't know. Our defense is really, I mean, that game against the Phillies was just, oh my gosh. No one's gonna let it go. So no, I think our defense is really, really good. Our infield is so locked in. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch. So no, I really think it's if, yeah,
whoever creates the momentum first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree that. I think if the Brewers capitalize on Dodgers' mistakes, I think they're going to win the series. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Dodgers have to play a perfect series because that's not a thing.
Yeah.
But in 7 games, if you make mistakes in 7 games, you're probably not winning the series, right?
Totally.
Well, it's interesting you say that because that's a big reason why the Dodgers beat the Yankees last World Series.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think if we just don't, if we don't, we can only leave it to like 1 inning of leaving people on base. Like if we consistently leave people on base, it's gonna it just catches up. Like we need to just keep the ball in play. And yeah.
There's so many interesting parts to this series in particular. It's like the big market and the small market, the style of play. That I'm just so excited to see these teams battle for 7 games because I think it will go 7 games too.
It's going to be electric at both places. The rally towels are going to be spinning at both places. Both places are going to be really loud. And this is, I mean, you hear the guys talk about it all the time, right? You know, kind of going back to what Jaclyn said in our text, it's October baseball. You know, all the other stuff kind of goes out the window because now you have this fresh 7 game series where the Dodgers can also completely change the narrative, right? You know, I'm not going to say they're going to sweep them because I don't think they will. But if the Dodgers go out and sweep the Brewers and punch them in the mouth, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh shit, 6-0. What? Like what? Like it didn't matter, right? Because you just swept them and got to the World Series." And so, and again, I will say this because I hear it a lot from coaches in all sports. You are the champions until you are no longer the champions. And that's how the Dodgers kind of operate, you know, with their culture in the sense of what the end game is, the goal is. And that, you know, like I know I've said a bunch. I'm sure people listen to some of the stuff I say and they're like, "Oh, you're a Dodger hater." It's like, no, man. Like I'm getting it out of the silo because we have the blue tinted glasses, even though my frames are black, but we have the blue tinted glasses and you kind of see that, but you don't really get the opportunity to get out of the silo to really see what's outside of the silo. And so
I like my silo. I like my
I
silo.
like it too. It's comfortable. It's warm. There's palm trees. Like I get it.
There's
You know?
Japanese toilets.
Yes. In Milwaukee, it's very cold. It is humid. It is all the things that I don't like, right? But you still have to. It's going to be rocking. Dave Vassay hates it because of the slide. I'm sure they're going to poke fun at him all week about that.
What happened with the slide and David Vassay? What did he?
So a couple years ago, David went down the slide and he ended up like breaking his wrist, right?
Yeah, I think it was either his arm or
so
wrist.
hard
Something.
into the wall that he like broke his wrist. Justin Turner ended up like helping him out. The team doctor, he was in a cast. They all had wearing shirts about it. So anytime we're talking about the Brewers, everyone's remembering David Vassay.
You will see memes of him holding up a cast like this, or I forgot.
Everyone's going to be like, "Don't go down the slide."
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, but more than anything, I think this series is going to be really fun because you have two really, like, there's a lot of guys on this Brewers team that a lot of folks don't know. You know the usual suspects: William Contreras, Christian Yelich, Jackson Chorio, but you
Andrew
don't know.
Vaughn.
Yeah, but you don't know about guys like Caleb Durbin. You don't know about guys like Joey Ortiz. Like they have dudes. That's a really well constructed team. A lot of people that follow baseball know who Pat Murphy is. We're all about to learn who Pat Murphy really is, kind of on a national level. But from there, right, it's these guys. There's going to be the comparison of David versus Goliath, all that jazz. I don't think these guys are phased. I don't think they care. They're just like, nah. It's just this is the opponent in front of us, and our goal is to get to the next level because we are the best team in baseball. And when you believe your hype, that's dangerous, right? But it's going to be fun, and I hope I won't be able to make it to any of these CS games, which I'm bummed out about. But I hope you at least are able to make it out to a couple. And most importantly, I hope you don't lose your voice, Melissa.
I got to get my voice back first so that I can lose it again.
So then,
I just want a new rally towel.
that's it. You just want a new rally towel. Obviously,
every time I get a new one, that means we moved on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say who you thought was going to win the other series? Blue Jays or Mariners?
I think, man, that's gonna be a fun series too. Honestly, I think
it's just gonna be
the Blue Jays. I don't know.
They're a problem.
I can't believe they
They're
knocked
really
the
good.
Yanks out.
I'm gonna.
Wow.
I can. I can because the Yankees have a bunch of problems. Um, I'm gonna give a slight edge to the Mariners, and the reason I'm gonna give them a slight edge is they they're how should I phrase this? They're in the trenches together for every pitch. Where not to say the Blue Jays aren't, but I just think that they're so tight and so in sync, and everything's kind of firing on all cylinders right now that I think they're in a better spot than the Blue Jays. I guess the best way to put it is they made less mistakes than the Blue Jays to advance. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of let the Yankees linger a little bit, when they shouldn't have. The Mariners series was so the Mariners Tigers series was a little more evenly matched because of the starting pitching that the Tigers have. And so that's where the outlier is. But I'm gonna give a slight edge to the Mariners. What about you guys?
Yeah, did you watch that 15-inning game?
Yes, it was insane.
That was incredible.
It was incredible. I wish I could have been there. I probably would have lost my voice, and I'm not a Mariners fan.
I was so happy just for the fan base that
Yes.
stayed for that entire game to be able to have the win at home.
Yes.
I felt really happy for them. When I watched the Blue Jays beat the Yankees, I remember because, listen, we're huge Dodger fans. Yeah, we watch and see what's going on with the other teams, but not as much as when it's the postseason. So watching the Blue Jays, I just remember being so impressed with them. And I'm like, wow, who's going to beat this team? They seem to want it. But then I felt the same about the Mariners. And honestly, I'm going to go with the Blue Jays.
Vladdy Jr. and the guys. What about you, Jaclyn?
And let me watch game 1 to be determined.
TBD.
I just don't know until you see them play and you see who and how they play together.
You got to break the tie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll see.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
so
give
Mariners, Cal Raleigh, big dumper, home run derby
all
winner.
of it. I mean, if I was to be honest, I think I'm more rooting for the Mariners story of it. It just seems like so special for them to be breaking barriers they haven't done.
Well, the Brewers have never even won.
No, they've been to one World Series, I think, in the 80s, and they got smoked.
Oh, I thought they hadn't won a World Series yet.
Guys,
they've won one pennant.
I don't know enough about them. I have to wait for game 1.
They won one pennant in the AL, and they got smoked. I can't remember who they played, but it was a long time ago. It was before I was alive. So I mean, it's been a minute. But the Brewers have been to the CS. They just haven't been successful. I'm trying to find a diplomatic way of saying it without being rude. I will say one guy that I'm really excited that is going to be available for the Mariners. He's back, I guess, in list of, I guess, being eligible to play or whatever. Brian Wu. If you do not know who Brian Wu is, everyone knows who Cal Raleigh is. And if you tell me that he is not the AL MVP, I will absolutely swing on you.
Okay.
Because there's people that are saying that it's all Judge, and it's like, listen, Judge had a prolific season too, but what Cal Raleigh did as an everyday catcher, that doesn't happen. So get out of here with all that garbage. Brian Wu, excuse me, had I think a chest injury of some kind or whatever. And I really hope that he's available. I really hope he's available because that dude is good. That dude is, I would say he's up there with trying to think of by the way, former Dodger Caleb Ferguson with the Mariners. Shout out to that guy. Brian Wu is kind of like if Roki had gone to a smaller market team and no one really knew who the guy was. He's kind of like that, or like how I'm trying to think of another good, I guess, example would be what's his name? The outfielder for the Diamondbacks, his name is currently escaping me. Corbin Carroll, like when he came up and he kind of took the world by storm. That's Brian Wu. And so I hope, it sounds like it's on the fence if he's going to be available or not. But if he is available, remember that name because the Blue, the only reason I also just can't pick the Blue Jays is just because of Cal Raleigh, because Cal Raleigh is such that dude has all these guys just so bought in that I don't know if the Blue Jays have a guy like that. but the Blue Jays also have experience. They have this guy named George Springer that we all remember, and they got some dudes over there that.
Yeah, now I don't want to pick them anymore.
I know, right?
You're like,
I don't know.
Oh no, I forgot about that.
I remember the feeling I had when I watched them. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mariners, though, are doing a huge Ken Griffey push.
Yes.
Making that part of their whole like rally behind it.
I really do like Cal Raleigh, though.
Cal Raleigh's a dude like that. He's a bad man, and that's why I don't understand why and I get it because it's Aaron Judge. He's the face of the Yankees. The whole I get that, right? But there's no way you can't sit here and tell me that Cal Raleigh is not the AL MVP based on just what he's done as the everyday catcher. Like even Will Smith is an elite catcher, right? He may be the best catcher in all of baseball. If Will Smith was on that sort of a run, even with what Ohtani did, you would have an argument to say that Will Smith would be the NL MVP.
He was on a run until he got injured. He was really hot. He was hitting like over 400 at one point.
He was having a phenomenal season.
All right, so real quick before we wrap this thing up, we made some predictions for the DS. I remember mine. I don't remember yours. That's my fault because I'm a terrible human being. Like I've said a couple times, I have to eat my words on Kike. So that's a part of why I'm publicly
You said Teo. I'm pretty sure I went with Mookie too.
I went Roki, so I'm not going to do a victory lap, but I'm simply saying we're as we're kind of relitigating.
Roki's a good one. That was a good one.
As we're relitigating this, I wanted to kind of see how far off we are, and we're not that far off. So that's all it is. We're not totally oblivious to what it is.
Did great.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing it back. It's not just all blue tinted all the time. You kind of have to look at through the purview of the team.
I know.
All right.
All I hope is for Pages to have a better series. Because him being on fire, he for some reason is coming up in our really clutch situations, and all we need for him is to connect. And we should all want it for him because when he's in good spirits and he's connecting, we all benefit.
But I think that him kind of having that game winning play, even though it wasn't, the best hit or anything like that, he said that the guys have been rallying around him and showing him so much support during this cold streak, and that they were saying to him, "You're gonna have a moment. You're gonna have a moment," and he had the moment.
Aww.
And I just think that's going to give him confidence going into the next series.
Just love him.
I just love our team.
My favorite part is how Jaclyn's like, just taking it.
Oh, it's just so sweet, I think someone asked us, like, who do you think's like the hottest? And I was like,
they did. And
I was like,
no.
No.
We don't even look at our team like
but
that.
Like when you say hottest, like the most attractive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, I feel like a grandma with them. Like, I just want to pinch their cheeks.
So like, go, Mookie, go. You got this. You got this.
We're just like, you're so cute.
We didn't even answer. We were like, we hated being asked that.
So you dodged it like a pro, and I respect that.
We dodged it, yeah.
Like a bro. No, for real though, I feel like a grandma. I'm just like, oh, Tawny's little face is so cute.
We really do. We cheer them on just with so much love.
Before we wrap this guy up, tomorrow today, I guess, as you're listening and watching to this, because this is coming out on Monday, we're recording this the day before. We're gonna go live after game one, and we're gonna be joined by a very special guest, our friend Tim Neverett, who you hear on AM 570 from time to time calling Dodgers games. He's one of the best in the business, and he's been gracious enough to want to join us to litigate how game one ends. So we're gonna go live on. I'm not technically able to kind of explain where we're going to go live. We're gonna go live on YouTube. I know that for sure. And I believe Twitter, or X or whatever you call it these days, but we're going to go live. That I can tell you for sure. We're going to work out through some of the things, because I know we tried to go live on your Instagram, and evidently technology
and we'll
was
try
not
again.
We'll try again. We'll try again. But shout out to technology for making stuff difficult sometimes. But I'm excited about that, because Timmy's one of the best, and he's an incredible human being, but also he knows how to take the blue tinted glasses off from time to time too.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes we need to be brought back to life. I get it.
It's true. It's true.
It's just like, not in playoffs.
But I just really hope that we are talking tomorrow after a great win.
Yeah.
I like the humility of Jaclyn, just not in the playoffs. Just another time, be humble.
Let me just
No, we have to be all in for our team.
I know I've got to, and I can't be afraid to. I feel like people make me feel scared that if I'm too confident, then you're just going to get shut down. And it's like, if that's the case, so be it. And it wasn't meant to be. But I'm really confident in our boys. I really am.
All right. So this is what we know that we can confidently say, kind of as Jaclyn said. The offense can't lay an egg. The offense has to produce.
Mm-hmm.
And Mookie Betts is going to just go on a tear.
Yeah.
Mookie Magic is
Mookie Magic.
Yeah.
Yes. Marcus Lynn Betts is going to go out and show MLB why he's got the acronym in the name.
Like he's going to give one of those those, when he really just goes,
shitty season. Watch what I can do.
Like he gets on like first or second, he's like, boom. I'm like, yeah, Mook. Same with
our
PK.
favorite thing, and maybe you'll notice this now that we're pointing it out. Just look at when something good happens, how high Mookie can jump.
Oh man, he's springing up
when he jumps for joy. It is just our favorite thing to watch.
Yeah,
I will watch that tomorrow during game 1. We will be live right after that game. So if you're listening to this, please join us. It'll be fun.
Yes.
These are always fun. I really like talking Dodgers to me with you guys, because again, you make me you make me be a little more positive instead of so negative all the time. And I appreciate that. So thank you for always kind of bringing it back in and being like, hey, we shouldn't be negative all the time.
Of course.
We're always here for you.
I appreciate it. If
the baseball world needed a show like ours.
Yes, it did. So this is Baseball Isn't Boring with Talk Dodgers to Me. As always, you can find all of them on the socials. It's always a good time. We have merch apparently. I know they have some sequin things also available. So please buy those things. It helps the cause. But ladies, thank you again for joining me. My name is Alonso. That's Jaclyn. That's Melissa.